There was no criminal investigation. There was no counterintelligence investigation. It's just an arrogant head of the FBI, full of hubris, who wanted to send agents over to mess with Michael Flynn. Today was a great day for Bill Barr. It was a lousy day for Jim Comey.
Republicans right there voicing outrage as newly released transcripts reveal top Obama officials admitted they had no empirical evidence of collusion between President Trump and Russia during the 2016 campaign. In the meantime, the Department of Justice decided to walk away from the criminal case against General Michael Flynn, as you heard, the president's first national security advisor. Let's go to Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, ranking Republican, of course, on both the House Judiciary Committee and the Oversight Committee. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Ed.
Jim Comey's name was just invoked. Well, he was on Twitter last night. He said the DOJ has lost its way. But career people, please stay, because America needs you. The country is hungry for honest, competent leadership. James Comey calling for honest, competent leadership. Your reaction?
That's exactly what we have with Bill Barr at the head of the Justice Department. Trey was exactly right when he described it was a good day for Bill Barr. It was a good day for America when this information come out. It was a bad day for Jim Comey. Understand, everything we learned this week confirms what we already knew. This entire investigation was baseless. This entire investigation was baloney. Remember what they did, Ed? They went and spied on the Trump campaign. They used the dossier to get the warrant to do so. The dossier they knew was false. The dossier they knew was Russian disinformation. The dossier they knew was paid for by the Clinton campaign. The dossier that was written by Christopher Steele, who had told the Justice Department that he was desperate to stop Trump. They used all that, and then they go set up Michael Flynn, a three-star general. And that shows just how baseless this was. And I hope Bill Barr and John Durham take another hard look at Jim Comey, because he was the guy responsible. He was the guy at the top. He was the guy on the 7th floor telling Peter Strzok, hey, don't drop this investigation to Michael Flynn, even though the agents doing the work said there was nothing there.
Meanwhile, these transcripts of what the House Intelligence Committee was doing under Devin Nunes and Adam Schiff, Schiff seemed to be, according to people in the administration, holding back on putting these transcripts out. So Rick Grinnell, the acting DNI, says he was going to put them out. So all of a sudden, late yesterday, Schiff puts them out. And here's one bit from there. James Clapper, the former DNI under President Obama. I never saw, he testified long ago under oath, any direct empirical evidence that the Trump campaign or someone in it was plotting, conspiring with the Russians to meddle with the election. He said that when he was put under oath, and yet when he was on CNN, the president might be a Russian agent, the president might have colluded. How can these folks say one thing in public on television and another thing under oath?
I don't know, because I don't know how you do that, because it seems to me that they were lying when they were talking in public, but they were telling the truth when they were under oath being deposed. And again, thank goodness that Rick Grinnell pushed for this so that we got this information out there, which again confirms there was never anything there. You know what I think is interesting? Kim Strassel talked about this yesterday. We've had a lot to talk about this insurance policy, the now famous text between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Well, I think the insurance policy initially was the investigation itself, but it began to morph into other things. I think it morphed into going after Michael Flynn. That was an insurance policy, because Flynn had a background in intelligence, and they were concerned that he was going to figure all this out and expose it all. But then I think the insurance policy for Jim Comey really became the Mueller investigation. We should never forget, and Kim wrote about this yesterday, we should never forget that Jim Comey leaked those Comey memos. Leaked those memos to do what? To create momentum for a special counsel. And who did Bob Mueller hire? Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, this same group of people to cover up what they had done. That's something that we need to look into seriously, because I think that was, in the end, became the real insurance policy.
In terms of pushing this forward and getting more information, as you say, and accountability, how high up did all of this go in the Obama administration? Rick Grinnell, I want to show the video. I was tipped off yesterday that he was headed to the Justice Department late yesterday afternoon. He's got a satchel in his hand. I'm told there are documents in there he was bringing to the Attorney General, William Barr. We don't know exactly what's in there, but there are people around this case suggesting that maybe, as the acting DNI, Rick Grinnell has seen some documents that suggest Sally Yates and others were saying privately that Barack Obama knew about a lot of this with Michael Flynn a lot earlier than we know. What do you know? What do you think's in there?
Look, I don't know either. Let's hope they all get to the bottom of this. That is what John Durham has been charged to do by the Attorney General of the United States. So, look, we expect some completion of that investigation this summer, and we look forward to seeing it. But as I said before, I hope they give Jim Comey another good look, because, again, he was the guy in charge. He was the guy, as Bill Barr said a year ago, He was the head of this upper echelon of the FBI where there was a failure of leadership. It all goes to Jim Comey. So let's hope they figure all this out. What I also want to know is, when did they first learn about these documents relating to Michael Flynn? Did they know about this before the midterm election in 2018? And if they did, why wasn't that made public? Why did they wait? Why did it wait this long? Where's Chris Wray been in this process? Why didn't we have this information in a much more timely fashion? I remember a few years ago, when the Inspector General at the IRS knew about the targeting that took place there and waited to tell us till after the 2012 election.
Absolutely.
This is a pattern that concerns me. Give us that information right away when you get it.
Well, and Congressman, we just showed Chris Wray, the FBI chief, the president, on Fox and Friends, raise questions about what he's been doing and not doing. A lot of people looking for answers. Appreciate you coming on today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.